A wise fictional character once said, "If I can change, then you can change. We all can change." And that's one of the main themes that I noticed, at least throughout this episode. There are several characters that have this mindset that people don't change or people can't change. And as the episode develops, we see that that mindset is kind of proven to be untrue. So let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan, and we are talking about the latest episode of The Shy, episode 8. I think it's titled Sweet Thing, but I'm gonna call it the Valentine episode. That's basically what it is. I know I've said it in previous videos before. I definitely appreciate just all the montages that the majority of these episodes start out with, and this one was no different. We see all the fellas, shopping for Valentine's gifts for their ladies. All of them except for Darnell, who forgets his Valentine's Day. So let's get into it. You already know what it is. I may not go in chronological order, but we'll definitely tackle some of the main storylines. And speaking of that, let's just go to one of the hottest, well, I guess the more interesting storyline. This whole love triangle thing between Emmett, Keisha, and Tiffany. Definitely, that's been one of the highlight or best storylines throughout this season. I actually kind of feel bad for Tiffany, man. Like, Tiffany is kind of going out sad, man. I mean, granted, the reason why I say I feel bad for her is it's literally kind of like this good girl gone bad thing. She was, hanging in there with Emmett when, even after he was cheating 1,000 times in the past. And then, of course, you already know the history. That one more time that he cheated, that's just what broke the camel's back when he messed with Dom, played by Lala Anthony. But as I mentioned, sometimes people go through things and they experience stuff that actually makes them a better person or actually makes them more mature. And unfortunately for Tiff, I think that's what we're seeing with Emmett. Tiffany wanted to divorce Emmett, especially after they tried the whole open marriage thing or swing thing, whatever it was. I think that was kind of an eye opener for Emmett. He still has, clearly has feelings for Keisha, and with that, I think he just sees himself as someone who doesn't want to mess up another good thing. Yes, he does realize that he had a good thing with Tiffany. He messed that up. There are some true feelings there with Keisha. And so I ultimately think he just doesn't want to mess that up again. But even with that being Emmett's mindset, it's just a bad look for Tiffany, and actually sometimes I don't even think it's that she has feelings for him. I think it's kind of like the principle of it. We even see that one scene after Tiffany is literally trying to throw herself on Emmett, and Emmett stood strong. I was rooting for that scene. I ain't gonna front. I damn near gave a standing ovation. Emmett stood strong, and the reason why I say I think it's more of a principle and not necessarily feelings. She even said, like, "Oh, so you could cheat on me, but you can't cheat on Keisha." So I really just feel like it's one of those things where Tiffany definitely has some envy, of course, but I think that's her true feelings. It's like, damn, where was this Emmett when I really was all in on our relationship? So, and as a result of it, she's out here willing to risk her relationship with Robert, played by Amon Shumpert. So yeah, I can't side with Tiffany anymore. I couldn't side with Tiffany after the season finale of last season when she was, kissing all upon Amon Shumpert or whatever. But, that's what it is. She got to hold this L. Simple as that. You just got to hold the L. And like I said in some previous videos as well, sometimes people just need to be single. Clearly you must not have, that much like strong feelings for Rob. If you're willing to risk it all for Emmett, who's living a great life, trying to figure things out with the kids, with Keisha and everything else like that. And here you come. So that's just my opinion. I think it's more of a principle thing. Principle over feelings is how I think Tiffany is going about it. It's like, damn, that Emmett was nowhere to be found when we was together. And another thing, like I said, of course, the kids have been a key part of the majority of these seasons, and this one is no different. I was actually impressed for quite the grown conversation that Gemma and Jake had throughout this episode. I mean, goodness gracious, I think they're like ninth, 10th grade or whatever they are. And just some of the dialogue they had, like, will I ever be happy again? I eventually think you will be happy. I do think we will have kids someday. How does this really make you feel? It really sounded like, like a therapy session between two partners. Now, that's really what it sounded like. And this isn't new. I mean, when Maisha and I don't know what his real name is, so I got to go by his nickname. But when Maisha and what Papa was together a few seasons back, they were making moves as if they were a grown couple. Like, I mean, really responsible, relationship-like conversations that you would love to see in adults. So I thought that was impressive. I see that, of course, this is a traumatic loss, but you see that they're trying to gather themselves together and move forward. So I thought that was dope. I think probably like the second messiest story, behind the whole Emmett, Tiffany, and Keisha thing, definitely has to be this Trig, Fatima, Shaad, Deja, yeah, it's getting like a long line of a mess. Like it's just wild how the table has been turning in terms of Shaad, man. Like, first half of the season, I thought Shaad was the MVP. Like, he definitely was growing on me. Definitely a bright spot. But yeah, I mean, he's been having some miscues the past couple episodes, man. And this one was kind of wild. They go on a double date. You got Shaad and Deja with Trig and his pretend girlfriend Tiara in the first place. And like I think there was even like hints of that in the last previous episode, but you definitely see hints of Tiara having a liking toward Shaad. It was like some of the small stuff, like some small stuff like Shaad would be like, hey man, you got to pay attention to this beautiful woman you with, whenever Trig is on his cell phone. And I don't know, and there's just I don't want to hear the jail excuse that he's been locked up. There's just certain things that you should know not to say, especially in front of your old lady. You know what I'm saying? So, that's definitely one of them. And of course, the big kicker was, of course, he only said it because he didn't think Deja was listening. But, some of them walls be thin. But to tell another woman you look good enough to eat, you can't justify that. So, and then the obvious hookup happens. Tiara was kind of the aggressor. Shaad didn't had little or barely any pushback to it, and so now we got this affair going on. So I feel bad for Deja. I gotta side with Deja 100% on this, man. Deja gave you a chance, even though you was locked up, which I think is right. But in addition to giving you a chance. Pardon me. But in addition to giving you a chance, she had you looking right, man. She bought you some suits, wanted you, help you get on your feet, basically, in a sense. And so to turn around and do Deja dirty like that, yeah, Deja don't deserve that, So, damn, Shaad, yeah, you fumbled a good thing, man. I mean, yeah, Tiara is of course beautiful and stuff like that, and who knows? I think Tiara does have actual feelings for Shaad, but I hate to see that it was at Deja's expense. Someone who truly gave you a chance. I know it was, I love how like certain characters appeared one way and then halfway through the season, you see a complete 180. And with that being said, I gotta go with excuse me, Mr. Bluetooth himself, Darnell. I thought that was a very cool storyline this episode, especially for him even, having, just the mental capacity to want to go to Emmett and get his blessing and be like, hey, let me get your blessing. You've been the man in the house for so long because I was messing up. I need your blessing so I could, marry your mom. And so I thought that was very cool, very stand-up thing. And, and that's one thing I did appreciate about Darnell. Like he was kind of in that Tiffany boat in my opinion at first. It's like, I was skeptical about Darnell because I thought he only wanted Jada because Jada was in a happy relationship with Suede. But it turns out that his feelings were genuine, were true. So I love the fact that he's stepping up to the plate, man. I know there was a slight, minor setback or something that made him feel bad running into the another couple, and all of a sudden you got this spur of the moment double date. And I know that had to make Darnell feel bad when you run into somebody who's holding on to like high school memories. First of all, this holding on to high school memories for that long, kind of weird. But in addition to that, it's like this whole conversation is just like this couple highlighting all of your negative shit that you did to this woman. Like, yeah, man, I remember Jada had to miss her prom because you went to jail. I remember Jada was mad at you when you was cheating on her with her cousin. It's like nobody wants to have their shortcomings thrown in their face like that. So I felt sorry for Darnell. I'm sure maybe not in a relationship wise, but I'm sure on some level, on some capacity, we all can relate to feeling annoyed if someone is throwing, flaws or shortcomings, in our faces. So I felt him on that. So with that said, I definitely felt Darnell on that, but I definitely liked how he bounced back like that. I think that run-in with the other couple just further inspired him to follow through with, with wanting to propose. And I thought it was very uplifting how after Emmett stood his ground with Tiffany, he was so excited and he went to go talk to his dad about it. And just to rewind a little bit, he got excited to talk to his dad about it because he was skeptical that his dad was going to change. He was skeptical that Darnell could change because of all of this long list of negativity that he brought towards Jada, his mom. So after he stood strong and he realized that, hey, you know what, people can change, and I am very confident that you can change as well, gave Darnell his blessing, and he followed through in just remarkable fashion. Like that made my heart grow big. That was a very feel good scene to see Darnell propose to Jada. I thought that was super. That's some grown man stuff, man. I thought that was very nice, man. And even just to rewind a little bit on that whole people can't change thing, that was kind of another thing that Tiffany was hanging her hat on. Tiffany and Keisha have like this woman to woman talk. Tiffany's asking Keisha questions like, what makes you think Emmett's going to change? This and the third, just try to put all these doubts and questions in Keisha's mind. And just like Emmett, she stood strong in that. She was like, I just got to trust him. I got to go by my feeling. I'm going by my gut. Like whatever challenging questions or scenarios that Tiffany brought to Keisha was like, hey, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, but that's what love is. I gotta trust him. I'm gonna stand my ground and, make myself vulnerable in a sense. And hopefully Emmett doesn't let me down in that way. Very cool. But like I said, when they had that woman-to-woman talk, she also had this mindset that Emmett can't change, which is why she was trying to throw herself on him in the first place. But, and I guess we'll end it with a few more things, minor storylines. We definitely see Bakari trying to, he has a love interest with Lene. I made my feelings known about the character Bakari, but of course, everyone needs love. Everyone is, of course, has has the right to have feelings for people. And I just don't want Bakari to like, to corrupt, Lene or anything like that. And every time I see Bakari kicking it with Papa, I feel like an overprotective dad. Like, don't be hanging around that boy too much. He's bad news. But Papa's a good dude. Lene has a good head on her shoulders as well. So maybe, just maybe, instead of it coming from the adults of like Shaad and Trig, maybe the positive influence can come from Bakari's peers, such as his peer, from Papa or Lene. So we'll see. Is there anything I'm missing? I don't think so. Oh, and of course, Nina and Trey. Nina and Dre. That's always a cool thing to see. They've been floating on cloud nine really this whole season. No big issues with them. So I really have nothing to really add there. And of course we have Trig and Fatima. Fatima is standing strong with this. Hey, I'm not about to be, your secret. So it's really the same storyline. And in my opinion, it just looks like Fatima is getting increasingly frustrated with Trig. All right, so as I said, Fatima is clearly annoyed and fed up. So that storyline is still kind of just running circles. I feel like that's really the choice that Trig has. Either stop playing games with Fatima or just continue to do this pretend political relationship thing. But nevertheless, folks, these are just my opinions. I think there's 2 more episodes left of the Shaad, so let's see where things go. Peace.